Well, hello guys, and welcome back to the TARDIS. Today was my first day back in here. We still had family over, so I got in a little bit this afternoon, and I actually was reasonably productive. I'm going to tell you about a whole bunch of stuff that I got to play with today. First off, I want to thank Telescope Replicator for sending me the PDFs of skin wraps, not only for the Mercury Redstone, but also for the Juno. And I went ahead and printed some out on just regular paper. Now you can, of course, print these on cardstock and turn these into rockets, but I just printed it out on regular paper. That's all I had handy, but I already had these tubes laying around. Like, one of them with the Juno was almost an exact fit. Wasn't quite long enough, but the diameter was right. So, and yes, I know I got a couple of these a little bit out of order, but this is kind of a make-believe thing that is probably going to be a one-shot rocket. Remember, this is a rocket that's being made out of scratch. But I also played with the fin alignment tool, the Estes fin alignment tool, and I found an old spinner off of an RC aircraft that I believe it was off one of them that cracked up off my apprentice, that I'll turn that into a nose cone, maybe even a reusable nose cone. Because remember, all these are junk tube rockets, and if I get just one good shot at them, that's a thrill, because they literally cost nothing. When I go buy some more proper Estes rockets, or find get the materials to make some more permanent rockets, those I'll put a little more polish on. But I also use these junkers. Although I haven't gotten into it, I need to go get some that wood putty that I watched some videos on it, and everybody told me who's in the rockets that put all that putty into the fins and sand them down, you get a real nice smooth finish, more aerodynamic. I'm not really going for the performance here. This is still just play, but it's nice to learn the techniques. I mean, if I'm going to run a model channel, I should be doing these things. If for nothing else, I can speak about it, from a more informed point of view. Oh, come on, let's be honest. It's just fun to do something new, right? So, I don't know when I'm going to get out to fly rockets again, but I'm looking forward to it. And one of the beautiful things, you guys probably already know, I have a real fascination with old school rocketry, the early stuff all the way up through Apollo. And that's not to knock the space shuttle or anything, but this just, I grew up as a space age kid. So, Apollo, Mercury, Gemini, all these, they hold a special place in my heart. Now, the nice thing about these wraps is that, of course, you can cut them up and put them on any model rocket you're making to sort of give it that old school look, even if you're not making a hyper accurate model. But at some point I am going to use these PDFs to make proper display models, and maybe ones that'll fly. And he even has the cutouts here, so you can make like the Explorer 1 Sergeant Rocket can. For those who don't know, Explorer 1 was America's first successful satellite. It went up on a modified Redstone that was, some call it a Jupiter C and some call it a Juno, and it gets a little fuzzy exactly what's a Jupiter C and what's a Juno, because they were cousin rockets. But apparently I just recently learned there were a little bit more difference between them than I thought. And I believe it was they were using different kinds of fuels. And then there's the Juno 2, which has apparently no relation to the Juno 1. I stumbled onto some documentary stuff about that. And as much as I've studied rockets, there's just so many, and many times I've been to Huntsville and to NASA and all this other stuff, there's just so many variations. It's really easy to get lost in the technical minutia. And now that I've got myself completely confused, and you probably as well, now I'm going to have to go look all that up and get it straight. I did find a guy who does these great little 4 or 5 minute documentaries on a lot of the early rockets to help keep them straight. So now I'm going to go find that and link it in here. But all I'm saying is that there's a vast library of beautiful and elegant early rockets to make models of, and I just want to thank Telescope Replicator for the trouble he went through in making those the wraps, and I do intend to do them justice. And I'm sure some of you guys who know what I have forgotten are probably burning up the keyboards right now with what rocket did what, and now I've got to go look that up. Great, I just gave myself a homework assignment. So now there was something else I wanted to talk about. I did finish, actually a couple of things. I did finish the Supermarine Racer. I painted the tail. I touched it up with paint. The blue and the red matched perfectly. The white was just a little bright, but it's okay. But it looks much better. It's on the shelf, and I'm happy to have it up there. The GB I have elected, and the nice thing about this channel is that information flows both ways, and a lot of you guys talked me out, almost universally talked me out of doing something stupid, which was I was thinking about touching up the cheat line because it's a little too thick, and everyone said the same thing. If it's good enough, stop, because when it gets to that delicate work, the minute you try to clean it up, that's when you're going to mess it up. And you're absolutely right. So the only thing left to do on the GB is just decal it, and it looks good. I'm happy with it. It's not perfect, but I would like to know how whoever did the one on the box did it, because his work's just magnificent. But you know what? Just probably practice, practice, practice. So now I went ahead, for this next section, pardon me while I whip this out. Boom, chicka wow 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 wow, bum 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 bum. Okay. Yes, I'm going to talk kaiju. Now, I couldn't resist as soon, oh, by the way, I got this area finally cleaned up a little bit. In fact, here's the big box of crap that I got off of my workbench, so I have a little bit of room to maneuver. So I was able to jump on the large pink lizard and the Metaluna mutant. And even before I started on these guys, I knew I was going to do this. I just couldn't resist. Now, anybody who's ever watched any of the Japanese movies knows how they love to have the guest kaiju that fights Godzilla. Virtually every movie's fighting something different, you know. And when I was doing that Metaluna mutant, I was like, you know, if you were to make it make a kaiju, it looks. If you were to make the Metaluna mutant a kaiju, it looks like the kind of creature that would fight Godzilla. And I just couldn't resist. The two are the right size. It worked out perfectly. Oh, by the way, quick side note, very impressed with the tower and the base and everything that comes with that large pink lizard. I mean, the large pink lizard is exactly what it used to be. It's basically an Aurora kit with all that implies. I did find a few places it was easier if I just clipped off the alignment pins. Some of the holes weren't quite big enough to take them. Everything fit fine that way, so it was easier to work that way. And of course, the Metaluna mutant was just very straightforward. But and of course the mouth on the head and tongue on the large pink reptile can move, so you can pose it or move it, and some of the features can actually be articulated, although I did break one wrist, so I had to glue it in place, but not a problem. But the tower and everything is really beautifully done. It sounds odd, but I'm probably more impressed with that than anything, although all of it's fine. And but it's just what you would expect from a 60s or 70s Aurora kit. But I just think the two would, would have made great adversaries for a Japanese kaiju film. And if you want to take This Island Earth and one of the kaiju movies and say, okay, the creatures, the people that were destroying the Metaluna world in This Island Earth sent down these giant reptilian creatures, so the Metalunans made big mutants to fight them, and there you've got your scenario. Well, come on, you pay good money to see worse and you know it. So anyway, when I get done with these, I have to, of course, these were just quick builds. In fact, the large pink lizard isn't really glued, it's only parts of it are glued together. It's kind of just holding tight, snap tight there, because I want to pre-paint some of the things before I put it together. And I've got to get the the images and color palettes and everything to make sure I do a fair job. One of the things I was thinking about doing was, I realize they're from two different franchises, but this is Max's Models. You make it whatever you choose it to be. And one thing I was thinking is putting these two together, fighting over the tower, and articulate the giant reptile's head open with, and maybe use shredded cotton or something as a radiation breath as it fights the giant Metaluna creature on the other side, and make the diorama that way and just do something different with it. But we'll see when the time comes. Once I get these glued together, I'm probably going to set them aside and start working on the Waddell Williams airplane because that's really but I can have all three projects going at one time along with the rockets now that I've cleaned up a little bit of space. And the reason it's important for me to have so many projects going at one time is my natural impatience. I get something, I just have to wait for it to dry. I'm like, and what I need to do is just find something else to go work on, because when the creative muse hits, you don't want to break your flow, and having multiple projects going is a good way to do that. And I'll probably slap some old model, out of my stash, some old model airplane decals and these rockets also, just to, make them look cool. And, well, that's what I wanted to talk about. Again, thanks to Phil for the Metaluna and the giant pink reptile kits. And yes, I keep saying giant pink reptile. We all know why, don't need the Toho cops coming after us. And I also, once again, I want to thank TD for the GB. And I want to thank everybody for everything. It's just, you guys have been great. This has been great. I'm having so much fun. Unfortunately, more family coming, well, not unfortunately, I mean, I love my family, but unfortunately for content, family coming over tomorrow again. So I don't know when I'll get anything else out. That's pretty much it for the night. I just wanted to cover that, and now I have to go get my rocket stuff straight, because I got a feeling that's what I'm going to be talking about next time, because when I start doing these things, I don't write a script for that. I spend a lot of time studying the scripts and writing the scripts and detailing every detail of the kit model histories and things like that. But these daily things, man, this is right off the top of my head, and I get so much stuff wrong. But in a way, that's kind of fun, because it gives you guys who catch my mistakes an opportunity to chime in, and it's just all part of a fun community, and I love that. So, again, that's about all I have for tonight, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful evening, and my wife caught me today. I was sneaking out this shed. She goes, "Model on!" Model on.